Before I start the video, I'm gonna ask you guys to help me out with something. I'm trying to compete in Smash Ultimate Summit 3, which is an invitational event. You can get invited through voting, which is what I'm trying to do. What I need from you guys is to nominate me through Twitter. You can only nominate me from August 3rd at 12 p.m. Pacific time until August 6th, 12 p.m. Pacific time. If I get enough nominations, it will push me through to the next round of voting, and I will get one step closer to getting into the event. I'll have the link that shows you how to do that in the description. Hey guys, what's up? So for this, we got Mr. R here. In case you guys don't know who Mr. R is, he is one of the best players in Europe. He's the best Krom in Europe, and he's just like a huge top level threat. And he has been since Brawl. He's one of the really good Brawl players that have been competing since then and has still been able to compete at a top level. So I guess let's actually talk about that. So how did you get into Smash competitively?
That's a good question. So I started playing casually with Smash 64. My brother basically just like borrowed the game from a video game store. I just played it as a kid. The same with Melee, I just played it casually, and then I really started competing in Brawl, and that was back in 2008. I went to tournaments for the first time, and I think 2009 was like the first big EU like tournament or / major I went to.
Okay. Would you say that you started off like a noticeably higher level to begin with, or were you like were you bad and then you had to grind and get to the level you're at in Brawl?
I basically played online a lot before I went to like offline tournaments, and I was just competing on like the All Brawl ladder back then in 2008 and 2009. Like the competition was tough back then, so like in order to like do good on those rankings, you have to be pretty good. So I already grinded a lot before I went to like offline tournaments, and then the first tournament I went to, I got 4th. It was like a 15-man local or like a 20-man local. So like I already did like pretty decent the first offline tournament I went to, but I also competed in tons of like online tournaments before that. So it wasn't technically my first time competing. But yeah, my first time competing offline was pretty good actually. But my first time competing online was kind of trash because it was Brawl Wi-Fi and I was still like a beginner. I've been doing good since like the beginning, I'd say.
Okay. Well, I actually did not know you were a Wi-Fi warrior.
Oh yeah, that's all I did. I was just playing on the All Brawl ladder and the matchmaking chat. And I was a fiend because Brawl Wi-Fi was absolute trash.
Yeah.
It was really bad, but that didn't stop me from like just grinding all day.
Yeah. For everyone, or for a lot of you who don't know, if you are willing to compete in Brawl through Wi-Fi,
it's so bad.
Dude, you actually love the game because you think Ultimate Online's bad. Oh my god, you guys don't know what horrible online is. And I sound like
no clue at all.
And I sound like that old grandpa, like, oh, back in my day, we had a horrible online competitive play. But it's true. It's just true.
Only like the people that play Brawl can attest to this. But like, you'd literally press a button and then you'd move your finger, and then you look at the screen, and then like you'd see like the button being inputted. Like it was so bad. It was like a full second of delay sometimes.
Yeah, and this was like a 2-frame move or something, and you're like, oh, it's still not out yet. Wow.
But on the other side, like we've built resistance. So like now, even though Ultimate Wi-Fi is still kind of trash, I mean it is trash. I always compare it to like Brawl Wi-Fi. I'm like, right, it could have been worse, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I say this a lot, but I feel like if you like manage to survive competing in that game, like everything else is like a cakewalk. Let's fast forward a bit. Let's jump to Ultimate. You main Krom, or I guess you co-main Krom and Snake, right?
I don't know. I've had like a lot of. I think I main Krom now, and I just secondary Snake, and I secondary Sheik in tournament. I think that's my tournament lineup right now. But like over the past 3 years, I've changed my mains and my secondary so often. First month the game came out, I was a Roy main, and then I decided to main Inkling for a while, and then I picked up Wolf, and then I just went back and forth between a lot of characters. But I think I've decided on just sticking with Krom as the main. Now recently I've decided to just secondary Sheik and Snake on the side.
What made you gravitate towards Krom? Because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't say he's like a super top tier character, you know? Or even then, you know, he has an Echo Fighter, Roy. A lot of people would say that Roy is significantly better. So why did you decide to main Krom?
Well, I was a Brawl Marth main, so I really like Marth's design in Brawl. And my thought process was I'll either play Sheik in this game because I still really like Sheik, but if she's not good enough, I don't think I can main her. and like pre-patch, she was like not good enough at all. And then I was like, all right, well, I don't want to play Marth in this game because he's too floaty and he's very slow. He doesn't resemble Brawl Marth at all. And like the closest thing to Brawl Marth for me was Chrom. And I also thought Chrom was really good. But then the question was like, why did I choose Chrom over Roy? I just thought like Chrom was cooler. Like he floats better. Like his combos were like more fluent. Not getting sour spots was for me was more fun. Like getting sour spots with Roy was just like inconsistent and slightly more frustrating, even though obviously that has its benefits too. You can combo with that and stuff. I just preferred like the free flow of Chrom's playstyle more and his moveset more. I'm not entirely sold on whether Roy's better yet, and I know a lot of people are like convinced now, and I see tier lists from like top players and they have like Roy and Chrom in like different tiers, and sometimes there's even a huge gap between them, which I think is ridiculous, by the way. So I'm not totally convinced yet. I think a lot of people right now are just basing their opinions off of Roy doing better than Chrom at big tournaments. I think a lot of the reason why Roy is doing better than Chrom at big tournaments right now, or like has been doing better in the last 2 years or so, is because a lot of the top level Chrom players just don't travel to majors, like American majors at least. Like I've had visa problems for like a year, 2 years in the beginning, and now I have visa problems again. I can't go to the US. Rivers lives in the US, but hasn't even attended that many majors. Like he's entered some regional tournaments, and he has attended some S tiers and A tiers, but like nowhere near as much as like the top level Roy players have. And like Lancelot's from Europe, he hasn't really been to the US yet. TK3 from Japan hasn't been to the US yet. So like, I think it's more so a lack of exposure, because I think Chrom is still really good. I'm not trying to make his case for being better than Roy, because honestly, I don't really know yet. I think it's really close between the two, but the people that have them like really far apart and think they think that like Roy's way better than Chrom, I just disagree with that, because I think it's way closer. And he could be better, but if he is, it's like super close.
Okay, that's interesting. I haven't really heard that from, I guess, Chrom players, but I mean, you're definitely the first Chrom player I've talked to about this, so it's cool to hear, because like what you said, you kind of just hear people say like Roy is without question better, Chrom's like a tier below. There's like some people think there's like not much of a point to even use Chrom over Roy, but you're kind of saying that's not the case. There's still more that Chrom can do that people just haven't seen yet, so that's cool. And also, just going back to what you said about the way he flows better, I could definitely understand that, because regardless of whether or not Roy can kill early, he still has inconsistencies with his hitboxes. You know, if you hit the outer hit, if you get the outer hit, you're not going to kill. That makes sense. Okay, let's talk about Sheik, because you did mention her. You said you're secondarying her. You also said that you wouldn't consider her your main yet, but I'm sure a lot of people do know that in Smash 4 you were considered one of the best Sheik players in the world, and she has gotten some pretty sizable buffs that could make her, a very, very viable character. So, do you think that in the future you might switch over to maining Sheik?
Also, you'd be surprised actually. A lot of people don't know I was one of the best Sheiks in Smash 4. they just think I just picked up Sheik. I don't know, man. I think she's hard to main right now, because I think her matchup spread is fine. I think where Sheik really shines is that she has really good matchups against meta characters. So like, I think she's good against Joker. I think she's good against Rob. I think she's good against Zero Suit. A bunch of other characters as well. I just think she's pretty solid against a lot of like top and high tiers. But for me to like solo me here, it would be hard, because like there's some matchups I just don't want to play Sheik in no matter what. Like Pikachu, for example. Like I'm not gonna play that matchup. There's no reason to when I can play Snake as well. And there's a bunch of those matchups where it's very tedious with Sheik. Like you can do it, but it's just very tedious and requires a lot of effort. And I don't think it's worth all the effort when like Krom or Snake can just do a much better job. I mean, that's what I think right now. But I still think, for me personally, she has her place right now for a lot of matchups, especially like I said, the meta characters right now. So like I think she's great against Min and Sephiroth. So on top of like all the other ones I mentioned, she just does really good against a bunch of characters that are just super viable right now. But like to solo main her, for me, I'm not confident enough to do that yet. I'll be honest.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like you definitely know, I have Void in my region, and I've talked to him a good amount about Sheik, and yeah, what you said does make sense. It does require a lot of time and effort to like get Sheik to that level. It's kind of like, why do that when I could spend like a fraction of that time into a character that just already gets the job done? Yeah, so that definitely makes sense. And then I definitely know there could be some very frustrating matchups. One that comes to mind is Pac-Man. That matchup looks
Yeah, yeah.
That looks very frustrating. It does make sense. I think that yeah, even if you don't main Sheik, if you could get your Sheik to a level to, you know, counter certain matchups, that's also really, really good. I guess if you don't mind me asking, because you also say you're gonna use Snake as well. What's your game plan with Snake? Because it seems like with Krom and Sheik, you probably cover a good amount of matchups already.
Yeah, there's some matchups that Krom and Sheik don't really cover though. Like Pikachu. Pikachu just beats both Krom and Sheik. And then I don't like Krom Min Min. I don't like Snake Min Min. So I go Sheik in that matchup. Snake I go for a lot of heavies, except Bowser. I don't like Bowser Snake, but like DK I'll probably go Snake against. King K. Rool I'll probably go Snake against. DDD. Pichu as well, even though he's not a heavy. It's just a bunch of matchups where Snake just does good in. Shulk, for example. And also, people just suck versus Snake. I just think if you haven't fought against Snake enough yet, it's really easy to mess up and not like focus on the things you should be focusing against him. So like a lot of people just forget the C4 and like forget where it is, and I'll just get free C4s. Or they won't play around my nades really well. And also like Snake versus like Roy and Krom and Mythra. So there's definitely a lot of matchups where I'd go Snake over like Krom or Sheik, and I have done that in the past against a lot of top players. And it's been working out. I just think a lot of people suck versus Snake, so it helps a lot.
Okay, I mean that's definitely a good reason. Matchup knowledge very important in Ultimate. So you know, just throwing a matchup where you know people won't know it as well is a good idea. Visa issues. You've been having you've been having a lot of travel issues. And I mean, you recently also deconfirmed for like another event that you were planning on going to. Would you want to talk about it, or are you?
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not over it. I mean, I am over it, but it just sucks because
it's frustrating.
Yeah, this was like the first big road trip we were gonna do with like me, ice studying, and like a bunch of other Dutch players. And I haven't had like a trip like that in literally years because of COVID. And I haven't been able to compete in the US for obvious reasons because of visa issues. So I was like, yeah, finally I can go to like tournament. I think 2 or 3 days ago, the Dutch government came out with like new regulations and measurements when you're traveling outside of country. And now basically I can't go. So I just have to wait for now even longer. So yeah, we can talk about it. I don't mind. I just heard about it like 2 days ago as well. So
okay. Yeah, so I guess how much do you feel like that's gonna hurt you in terms of just like being at a competitive advantage, because you know there's other regions that are able to like travel and like compete with other countries like now, like obviously it's still very recent, but they got like a little bit of a head start. So do you feel like that's gonna hurt your region? Because I'm guessing that also means that other countries probably can't go to the Netherlands or something like that.
I'm not too sure. All I know is specifically Dutch people can't go to Germany right now unless they're fully vaccinated, and there's like a 2-week window. So I would be fully vaccinated by the time I went to Dokumi, but there wouldn't be like a 2-week window after I got my second vaccination. So since there isn't like a 2-week window, I couldn't go basically, and I can't have my second vaccination earlier either. So that was specifically about Dutch people going to Germany. So I'm not entirely sure if people can come here.
Okay.
Initially, my plan was to go to a few locals like you and just kind of ease myself back into like competing offline. But then there were no locals in the Netherlands, no locals near me because of like the Corona measurements. Because it's pretty bad here right now. I don't know if you're aware, but it's pretty bad in the Netherlands right now. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to Wanted, or not Wanted. I'll just go to Dokumi. Like I'm not gonna go to locals. I'm just gonna go straight to a tournament. I would have probably would have been weird to go to an offline tournament like that straight away. I think in terms of practice though, I've been trying to pick up like practicing again just on Wi-Fi, and I've been pretty committed to just playing at least once every 2 days and then playing like a decent amount. So I feel like I haven't really fallen behind much in terms of like actual in-game experience and practice. I just think in terms of tournament experience, I might take like some tournaments before I start getting used to like maybe the nerves and the pressure and stuff again.
But you are still going to Wanted 3, right? So at this point, that's going to be your first offline tournament if things go according to plan.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I was gonna go to Dokumi too until like a week ago. So like, I think I'm gonna go to Wanted, but I'm already fully vaccinated by then. But I don't know if I'm gonna be in that 2-week like buffer period. But there hasn't been like anything about France specifically about like Dutch people not being able to go. It was only Germany specifically. if I'm not mistaken. So I should be fine unless something comes up. So hopefully that won't happen.
Okay, well, I guess let's kind of talk about Ultimate Wanted 3 because we're both going. What would you say you're looking forward to the most regarding the event? Like, is it going to be competing again, seeing people, aiming to take out the heavy hitters? What is like the big thing that's on your mind? Like, what first comes to your mind when you think of that event?
Honestly, this is gonna be really nice to be able to hang out with friends again. Just having people around me that I haven't seen in like literally years now.
Yeah.
And competing is gonna be nice too. Just playing offline and like a lot of different matchups. It's gonna be pretty fun. Like the trip itself is gonna be fun. I know you're going. I know a few other American players are going, or I forgot who was going, but some notable players are going. So it's gonna be a stacked tournament, and I love competing at stacked tournaments, especially right now because I'm a free agent, so it's just more exposure if I do well. So a lot of stuff to look forward to, assuming I can still go.
I definitely gotta say I have missed like hanging out with you, after events. So this is gonna be great because dude, we haven't seen each other in person like over 2 years. It's crazy,
yeah,
right?
I think it's been longer than that because like I didn't even before like COVID, I didn't travel for a while, but it's been a while.
Yeah,
it was fun hitting those bars after like tournaments, like even during the tournaments in the hotel lobbies. But we can do that again in France, hopefully.
yeah. If everything goes well, we could definitely do that. Okay, so Europe. It's definitely a region that a lot of people they kind of glance over. They see like maybe a few notable names like you, Gluttony, and they're like, okay, well, that's it. That's all Europe has to offer, like competitively. How do you feel about that? Because I mean, obviously, Europe is a much stronger region than people would think. Just given the fact that you two are really good, like, there's no way you got really good by yourselves. Yeah, I guess you could just like talk a bit more about the competitive environment that Europe has.
So it's pretty interesting in Europe because it's like very country per country, kind of like how it's state by state in the US. And I think right now our level is quite high. It's definitely better than, and I'm not just saying this because I'm from Europe and I'm biased. Like historically, I've always been honest about like the level in EU. So like in Brawl, I thought we kind of sucked. In Smash 4, I thought we kind of sucked as well. Like we were good. There were some good players even in Smash 4 and in Brawl. But like the overall level was not comparable to like the US or Japan back then.
Bringing up Smash 4, like I actually wanted to like ask a question on this really quick. You were like undefeated in Europe in all of Smash 4, right? Like you legit didn't lose a tournament. Or you lost like, you could count it on your hand, right?
There's one tournament I lost. Other than that, I won everything for like I think 3 to 4 years. I forgot how long Smash 4 was out.
That's crazy.
So I did pretty good. Yeah, I did pretty good. I was so good at Smash 4 because she was so broken and she was like the most fun character for me. If you have that perfect sweet spot where your most fun character is also like super top tier, top 3, top 4. So like if Krom was like top 3 or top 4 in this game, I'd be golden, I'd be solid. So that was the case with Sheik in Smash 4. And I also competed more, more motivation. But yeah, like I just practiced so hard in that game. And in Europe, I did really good. I just didn't lose a single tournament except one. But the funny thing is, I lost to Japanese players at that one because 2 Japanese players came over.
Oh, that's still an impressive record. But yeah. Sorry to cut you off. But like, go ahead with the.
No, you're great. You gave me a chance to flex, so it's still fine. Obviously, we had some good players. Like even in Smash 4, we had like Gluto, Ice Thought, like Quick. They were all good, but like the overall level wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't comparable to like US and Japan, for example. But right now, I truly don't think that's the case anymore. I think there's a lot of like really strong regions with a lot of like very solid players. Like France right now, I think top 5 in France, all very solid players. Top 2 and top 3 especially. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they take out like any Japanese or any US player, or like 99% of them. And then the Netherlands also has like a lot of good players like me, Space, I Studying, S1, Miru. And there's the UK, a lot more stacked all around now, rather than like just a few players in Europe shining above everybody else. Right now, I just think Guto is probably still the best. And there's like a small gap in between. Well, it's hard to say because it's been like 1 to 2 years before like the last France or like a EU major. But I still think Guto is obviously the best. I'm just not sure how big the gap is right now between him and like 2nd and 3rd and 4th. But like the overall level, way higher than it was in Smash 4 and Brawl. So I'm really excited for like people to come over here right now and then compete in Ultimate, or for EU players like to travel over to Japan or US. it's super exciting to watch.
Yeah. And you've also traveled a lot yourself. You've been to Japan like multiple times. Obviously, you've been to the US. I mean, not recently, but you've been there like quite a few times. What would you say, just from your experience from traveling a lot, what differentiates I guess like the US, Japan, and Europe from each other? Or like any other regions you want to talk about?
So there's, I think a lot we do different, and Japan does different, and the US does different. I'll try to go through as many as I can, because I think honestly, out of everybody in the world, I've probably traveled to all three regions the most and stayed there the most in terms of months and weeks, and also in terms of frequency. I've traveled like to Japan like 8 to 9 times, to the US like 20 plus times, various EU countries. So I can probably give you a pretty good answer. Okay, so I think a lot of American and Japanese players play a lot more Wi-Fi than EU players. EU players have started playing more Wi-Fi since like I think a year ago. We have like a special matchmaking Discord now that's pretty active. But even before that, in Smash 4 and Brawl, like we weren't really active on Wi-Fi. Whereas like I don't feel like that's the case with American and Japanese players. So that's just Wi-Fi. And then I think in terms of like playstyle, I think the Japanese play a bit more conservative, like they've always done so, like traditionally. They have really good disadvantage, a lot of them. I think EU players, most of them, their disadvantage state isn't that great. Obviously, there's like exceptions like Pluto and Quick, but I think we're just really good at like neutral exchanges and conversions and stuff. But like when we're in a bad spot, a lot of us tend to like kind of panic and not do well. And then I think American players have like a blend of like EU and Japan in terms of playstyle. So I guess that's like what differs per playstyle. And then I guess the biggest thing is like tournaments, because like in EU is super different. So like you go to a tournament and like everybody speaks a different language, and everybody tries to hang out with like your own like kind of country for the most part. There's definitely still like exceptions. Like I have a lot of UK friends, a lot of French friends. But like the people that don't know each other kind of just stay with their own country. In the US, it's like way more blended, and like the tournaments are way bigger. And Japan is like on another like spectrum, where they have a lot of really good players from different regions within Japan, and a lot of hidden killers in Japan too. Like a lot of Wi-Fi warriors that are really good. But in terms of level right now, if I had to go by top 10, like if there was a crew battle like of top 10 between each country, I'd probably put Japan first, and then US second, and then EU third. I don't know, man. I think Japan has a lot of really good players. Like if you look at their top 15, top 20, I think it's super stacked. And a lot of them don't travel, so it's like hard to tell. Like honest to God, it's like a 15, 20-minute crew battle. I just think it's a complete toss-up. What about you, Larry? I'd like to know your thoughts.
I mean, I agree with you. I think Japan is very, very strong. You know, they have a lot of hidden bosses. They have Zachary, they have T, they have Shuton, they have Proto Banham. They have ridiculous players. So I am with you. I think that overall Japan's like the strongest country. Like as a whole, it's like kind of ridiculous.
That's what I think too, but I don't know why that's like a controversial statement. But that's what I think. Yeah,
it's fine. Don't focus on chat. Don't focus on chat.
all right.
I mean, just based off of what you said, it kind of makes sense, because it sounds like Europe is more likely to interact with people from other countries, and that might be hurting them, you know, because if you're only interacting with like their country, which like countries in Europe are like much smaller, so they're kind of like states like in terms of US size, right?
So like the Netherlands is quite small. It's I can't really compare it to because my American geography is absolutely trash. But the Netherlands is quite small. Like a lot of the countries are quite small.
Yeah. So my point is, because the countries are so small and you're only interacting with people in that country, which is already, you know, it's small, it kind of is hurting Europe as a whole, because they're not getting match experience that they could get from like, you know, like Germany or like France, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. And there are like, obviously it's not the case with everybody. Like there's plenty of like German players that hang out with Dutch players, like plenty of French players that don't hang out with Dutch players, and henceforth. But like, I guess when it comes to like the mid-level players, like low-level players, the people that don't go to majors often, like they're just gonna stick with their own group for the most part. They're not really gonna blend well with like a lot of the other international players, at least from what I've seen.
Actually, okay, I wanna talk more about you have this uncanny ability to like find like these super hidden bosses in different countries. Like you did it with MK Leo, and you've done it like with you've done it in other areas. I guess how did it make you feel to like, you know, because like the first time you played Leo, he upset you. I think you went to there's like a tournament in the Middle East, right, where you also got upset by like a Lucario or something.
Oh yeah. That was like way after, I think. Like a
Yeah,
year
yeah.
after or something.
Yeah, so I guess like when that first happened, were you just like, okay, there's no way this person like trash or something, or like I'm playing bad? like
Honestly, like I'm probably just gonna John and make excuses, but I didn't get enough sleep that tournament, and I was playing really badly, and I didn't know the matchup that well. The player I was playing against was still really good, and I think it was in Kuwait. And but it's fucking Lucario, bro. Like, it's like I got hit by like one F smash. I made one or two mistakes and I just lost the set. Obviously, he was still good, but I still won the tournament afterwards, and I did fine. And against MK Leo, it's a really funny story actually, because I think the week or 2 weeks before that was Evo, and then I went to Smash Factor like straight. And I got second at that Evo, like literally second at the most stacked tournament up to that point. Then I go to Mexico and I lose to this like 14-year-old kid that nobody knows about except Mexicans, and I have just like no idea who he is. And I don't even lose like a little bit, like I lose badly. And I just got second at Evo against like a Meta Knight player that's like 14 years old. So I was like super confused. I was like, did I play bad, or is he just really that good? Like, do I not know how to match up? Like, what's going on here? I was like really doubting myself. Like I wasn't sure what was happening. Like, was it like just me playing bad, or what was it? And then like turns out like a few years later he becomes the best player in the world, and you know, with a decent gap in between him and second place too, towards the end of Smash 4, and then in Ultimate for the majority of that too. So now I don't feel that bad anymore, but at the time I felt like shit.
Yeah, I had to bring it up because I just, yeah, it was kind of insane. We're like, well, what happened? Like,
oh yeah. And that's been the case for a lot of like you said, like I have this talent for just finding international, like I don't know, like really good players. I always lose to them first. There's also like I think Sue, I lost him in Japan first, then he went to Frostbite and he had like this amazing run. And then even in Ultimate, there's a few players where that's happened as well. So I'm just a talent scout at this point.
Yeah, you're the ultimate talent scout. I think this is gonna be the last question. What are your upcoming plans? So like, you know, once you get the vaccine and you're able to travel more, what are your goals? Are you just gonna like focus on traveling to Europe? I mean, I've heard that you say you're gonna go to Japan for a bit.
As you know, I can't travel to the US right now because of visa issues. So there's this new tourist visa you can apply for as a Dutch person when you go to Japan, and basically it allows you to stay there for a year. I'm gonna apply for that one like as soon as like the whole COVID stuff like is over and I can actually travel again. And then my plan right now is to live in Japan for a year and maybe start more content there with like Japanese players, learn the language in the meantime, compete over there, maybe find even a part-time job. Like I wouldn't mind working in like a grocery store or something, or like a ramen store, you know, just get the full Japanese experience. So that's my plan for now. And then I also, like, if that doesn't work out, I'll probably just stay in Europe and go to like as many EU tournaments as possible. But ideally, I'd love to live in Japan for a year. That's like that's the plan as of right now.
That's a pretty high plan. I hope it works out for you. I really do. That, like, not just from a competitive standpoint, but Japan's just an amazing country. So
yeah, for sure. And like I'm a little bit lucky because I've been there like 7 or 8 times, and I've made some friends that are willing to help me out with like housing and a bunch of other stuff. So the only issue really is getting the visa. If I can get the visa, then I'm pretty much golden, and I'll probably be the happiest I've ever been in my life because I love living in Japan. So hopefully that'll work out.
All right, well, good luck to you. If you want to follow this man, follow him. It's Mr_R Smash, right?
Yes, sir.
Follow him on Twitter, Twitch. Say he's working on his YouTube channel. Follow him on YouTube. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, but if you want to add anything else, you can.
Nope. I'm excited to see you in like 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be like a little over 2 weeks, I think, or less than 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll see you soon.
Something like that. Yeah. We gotta practice teams because we have to win. Like,
yeah, we got.
I'm not losing the Dolls event. We gotta win.
All right, we got this. Don't worry. you.